wall up. And Michael Jackson came downstairs one morning to get some juice out of the refrigerator in the kitchen, and there was this lady sitting at the table waiting on him. And he couldn't believe how she had breached security and got in. And all she said was, I always wanted to see you and I always wanted to meet you. And she had breached security and gotten in the house. And that was one of the conversations we had when we started talking about Billie Jean, which was based on the fact that this girl had accused him of fathering his child, and he was denying it at the time. And the song came out of that.
Wow.
And if you'll trace, we did Billie Jean and we did Streetwalker, which were both songs about women. And as the media started to focus on how he was dealing with, being a pedophile and all of that, and all of that, not being the case, they lost focus on all of these songs that focused on him dealing with women and what he had to go through as a pop icon dealing with women.
When you were in the studio, in particular, working on Thriller, did Michael Jackson come in prepared with the music that he wanted you to play specifically?
Oh, most definitely. Look, there are only two people that I've worked with that have been prepared like Michael Jackson, and that's Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, and Kenny Rogers.
Mm-hmm.
When by the time you get to the studio with Michael Jackson, being one that worked with Quincy Jones, they had the map, the game plan, everything all laid out. It was like a puzzle, and all you had to do was put your piece in. But they had it all figured out, psyched out. Now, the funny thing is when we did Thriller, the joke in the studio was maybe we'll be able to sell 13 million records as opposed to 10 million that Off the Wall did. Well, we know that broke every record going. But that was, those were the kind of things that we talked about.
Did you know, though, when you were in there in the studio, were you feeling that magic?
Oh, yes, definitely. Everything felt good. Everything felt good. And they were always ahead of the technology in the way that they were recording. I mean, the team of Michael and Quincy and Bruce Swedien, they were always 3 steps ahead of all the technology in the way we were recording, in the sound that we recorded, the way we got the sound and all of that. And we don't discuss a lot of that, but everything that we were doing was technologically advanced at the time, which set up a lot of creative inventions for computers and everything else to get the sounds that we were getting on those records. Absolutely. So it all felt like an innovative, ahead of the time situation. Now, the only thing about that is when you make records, you never know how the public's going to perceive it because you're looking at it from a creative standpoint. But Quincy had that vision, and, Quincy's vision was we're going to go back to the way records used to be made, where there will be the ability to pull multiple singles from this record, and then we'll have a hit album, and not just an album with a couple of hit singles. So Quincy was looking at it that way, and that affected the song selection he did for the album itself, because we recorded more music than what was that came out on the record, but he held some of that back because it didn't fit into the concept of him having all of these singles on this record.
Did he know that this was going to be such a hit, or was he worried? Did he ever worry about it,
No, that was no worry. Look, here's a guy that was already at the top of his game. Here's a guy that already had paved new ground and had already done what he needed to do in the record business to prove that he was a star. So it was just a matter of him doing what he wanted to do and having belief in that.
Right, indeed. Ndugu, I know you're driving there. I don't know if you can hold on for me for a little bit. If you can, stand by. If you cannot, I will want to thank you now in case we lose you. Thank you very much.
How long is stand by?
Stand by. Stand by is about possibly 2 minutes. We have a cardiologist sitting here with us on the set that we wanted to talk a little bit about.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Then, by the way, just for the audience so we'll know who we were asking to stand by, that is Ndugu Chancellor, a world-renowned drummer who recorded extensively with Michael Jackson, which is why he has been able to share so many incredible personal stories, so many unique stories that no one else could share with us. I do want to bring in Dr. Nanavati right now. He is a certified, board-certified cardiologist here in San Diego. And doctor, if you could talk about for us, of course, the